This is absolutely crazy. The market is getting out of control, but Palantir is going in a different direction. The reason? Donald Trump just dropped something massive. We're talking about trillions coming soon, and Palantir is at the center of it. This is pure madness. But why am I being so excited? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. The whole market is still kind of in meltdown mode today, and yeah, it's mostly thanks to Trump's tariffs. Stocks are getting slammed left and right. But Palantir? That one's doing its own thing. It's not just surviving the chaos, it's actually moving in a totally different direction. And here's the wild part. One analyst thinks Palantir's actually setting up for a move-up. On the chart, it's doing this thing called a falling wedge, which usually means it's gearing up for something big. That's a strong sign. If it keeps pushing and breaks through the low to mid-80s, it might really take off from there, and it might get out of control. But wait, I know, that analysis probably got you interested already. But just hold on a second, because today, something huge just dropped from Donald Trump, and it changes the game. Why? Because a massive deal just got leaked, like trillion-dollar level massive. And if this plays out the way it's looking right now, Palantir's price, it could explode. But where does it all come from? Well, it all started with the big news from the White House. This one's flying a bit under the radar, but trust me, it's a huge deal. The government just said they're ordering all federal agencies to name chief AI officers and come up with real strategies to expand how they use artificial intelligence. And here's the kicker. They're scrapping the old rules that were all about holding AI back. Now, they're hitting the gas. The Office of Management and Budget is telling agencies to start laying the groundwork, to actually build policies for how to use generative AI in a way that's safe but powerful. This isn't just talk. This is action. And you know who's perfectly positioned for this? Yeah, Palantir. Palantir is already deep in the AI game, especially when it comes to working with the government. If this expansion actually rolls out like it's being planned, Palantir could end up at the center of it all. That kind of exposure, that kind of demand, it's the perfect recipe for a breakout. And speaking of Palantir's price, there's one analyst who shared his thoughts recently. And honestly, it's super interesting. He basically said, the stock's going to do whatever. But what really stood out was what he said after that. He's convinced that all this madness, tariffs, market chaos, everything, it's not a setback. It's actually the perfect setup for Palantir to shine. Imagine a big manufacturer suddenly getting hit with higher steel costs. Normally, that would be a total mess. But with Palantir's system, everything clicks into place. Their platform connects all the dots in real time. Supply chains, contracts, costs, you name it. Instead of scrambling through spreadsheets or bouncing between departments, execs get a clear view of what's happening right now. And the AI? It doesn't just sit there. It starts throwing out actual game plans, backed by the company's own logic. Need new suppliers? Adjust pricing? Shift inventory? It's all there, ready to go. Then once the decision is made, the system just rolls it all out, automatically. That's the kind of power we're talking about. While other companies are stuck reacting, Palantir's clients are winning. The analyst put it perfectly. We plan to power the winner. And with that kind of real-world impact, Palantir's stock? If this keeps up, we could be looking at some serious movement. This might just be Palantir's moment to absolutely take off. But wait, you might now be thinking like, why am I even talking about that? What does it have to do with Donald Trump? And why does this all matter? Well, this stuff will help to stabilize and justify Palantir's stock price. But what really might make Palantir's stock price skyrocket is the new bombshell by Donald Trump I hinted you about in the beginning of the video. Long story short, Donald Trump just flat out announced a monster of a deal. At a meeting with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Trump said his administration has just approved a defense budget that's somewhere in the $1 trillion range. Yeah, that's a trillion with a T. That's not just a bump in spending. That's history being made. He explained it pretty clearly. They're being cost-conscious, sure. But when it comes to the military, he's not holding back. He said it himself. We have to build, and we have to be strong, because there are a lot of bad forces out there now. And it doesn't stop there. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth backed it up online, posting, "Coming soon, the first $1 trillion Department of Defense budget. President Trump is rebuilding our military, and fast." Now let that sink in for a second. A $1 trillion defense budget. That's the biggest military investment we've ever seen. It's not just about tanks and planes anymore. Modern warfare is about data, AI, cybersecurity, intelligence coordination, and decision-making speed. That's exactly the kind of battlefield where Palantir shines. And here's where it gets really exciting. If Trump and his team are putting this much firepower behind defense, you better believe they're going to lean on the most advanced platforms out there. And Palantir? It's already proven itself. They're not some new kid trying to get in the door. They're already inside. They've got years of partnerships with the military, the intelligence community, homeland security, you name it. Their tech is used to organize, analyze, and act on complex data in real time. And in today's world, that's not optional. That's mission critical. So let's just think for a second. What happens if Palantir gets tapped to support this new defense vision? What happens if even a fraction of that trillion-dollar budget flows into their pipeline? That's not just a contract. That's a rocket booster strapped to their growth. Palantir stock? It wouldn't just climb, it could skyrocket. We're talking serious momentum, something that could push the price into levels that most retail investors aren't even imagining yet. This could unlock revenue and visibility for years to come. And for investors who've been riding the wave, or those thinking of jumping in, this is the kind of setup that only comes around once in a blue moon. This isn't just good news. It's life-changing. If Palantir becomes a central piece of this massive defense overhaul, it could mark the beginning of an entirely new chapter, not just for the company, but for the people who believed in it early. This is the kind of move that turns everyday investors into long-term winners. But here's the thing. A lot of people are not really believing in it, and that this is actually happening. They are all worried about Trump's tariffs and are very skeptical. But honestly, they are not quite right about being skeptical. Palantir's been down since the tariff war started, but here's why it could actually win because of it. First, chaos drives the need for AI. When decisions need to be made fast, Palantir's platform helps companies make sense of complex data and react quickly. It's built for this kind of environment. Then, there's the fact that lower interest rates make it easier for companies to invest in AI. CEOs are looking for ways to stay ahead, and Palantir is a perfect solution for that. Foreign countries? They don't have alternatives. While there may be some hesitation about using US software, there's just nothing else that competes with Palantir's tech. It's in a league of its own. And don't forget about warp speed. Palantir's AI manufacturing system is about to expand to commercial clients, opening up a huge opportunity. The US is pushing for reindustrialization, and Palantir's tech is perfectly positioned to help. Finally, Palantir is anti-fragile. It gets stronger in chaos by helping its clients navigate tough situations. Right now, that's exactly what businesses need, and Palantir is ready to deliver. With all of this coming together, Palantir is set to shine in this environment, and that could mean big things for the stock. And actually, we will soon find out about it because Palantir's earnings report is coming up on May 5th, just a few days from now. And honestly, this could be a game changer. Earnings reports are always big, but when you have a company like Palantir with all the momentum building right now, this one is especially crucial. It's a chance for the company to show exactly how it's handling the chaos and whether its strategy is paying off. If the numbers are good, it could send the stock soaring, especially with all the factors lining up in Palantir's favor. With everything going on, the growing demand for AI, the expansion of defense budgets, and the continued chaos that Palantir is perfectly built to manage, this report is likely to paint a pretty strong picture. It's not just another quarterly update. It could be the catalyst for the next wave of growth. But what is your opinion on this? Comment down below. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, then turn on the notifications bell on this channel. Missing an important Palantir update might make you lose money, so don't risk it. Also, please share this video with as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there.